you check the children? Show a little match sometimes.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Sometimes that is better.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil Laird.
Back here, I'm Jaime and Fuego.
Yep, we are doing a safe distance quarantine review. We are 6 feet apart, just separated by distance and distance to the camera. So
I miss you.
Yes. But guys, we are here to talk about a movie that is getting a lot of kind of praise, and I'll be honest with you, I'm a bit confused as to why, because it's a very middle of the road movie to me.
Same
but
boat.
we're here to talk about is it Alexandra or Andrea?
Alexandria
Daddario's We
Wow.
Summon the Darkness.
Wow.
This was released to VOD, and ultimately it's we'll go through the story in just a second, but we're going to start with our overall thoughts. And my overall thoughts were, I was disappointed. I felt like this was a movie they could have had a lot more fun with, and it felt like it was trying to be fun, but the actors never really portrayed a fun atmosphere. The actors were all super duper serial through the whole thing. And
Super serial.
Super serial. So they were, totally too serious the entire time, and it never came across as a comedy, which I think it would have been better suited if it had leaned more into the comedic aspects of this. All in all, it's just a mediocre movie that you don't even get to see our girl Daddario's.
Goodies.
She has so many D's in her name. Let's just say that. Fuego, what are your thoughts on this one?
I felt very similar to you about this, man. This was a movie that was trying to be something that felt inauthentic in my estimation, and that's what really, as a metal guy, pissed me off the most about the extent of this movie. It almost is like masquerading as like something when it's really a poser, and that's really a mean sentiment, actually, now that I think about it, but it's the way that I felt about it. It's not poorly acted, but the script is very basic bitch status and just didn't bring much interesting to the forefront. And then there is one character, Johnny Knoxville, who is shown very hesitantly, sparingly, and I've seen news outlets spoiling a big twist about
Really?
him. Oh yeah, me and Cody Leach were talking about it on Twitter, where there is something about him and another character that is revealed in the third act, and everybody was like talking about it, and it was all great and stuff. So it's not a terrible film. It was okay, but it was one that is more aggravating than anything because of the potential that it had and didn't really do justice. So
Yeah.
there you go.
That's fair. That's a fair assessment.
Yeah.
And the story, they try and lead you astray with the trailer. Well, not lead you astray. They don't really fully reveal what the story is in the trailer. And when you find out in the movie, I kind of guessed it right off, and I was like, oh, this is obviously what's going to happen. Hopefully they really lean into it and go full bore, but I feel like they didn't. And then they kind of cut themselves off at the knees. Like, at first you think, oh, okay, this is what's going on. And then it's like, oh, they're doing it for that reason? Oh, this is lame. Like,
Yeah.
this is as they explain
contradicting,
things, it
man.
got more lame to me.
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts? And go ahead and just jump through the story for everyone, because I can't be bothered.
No, it's fine. It's fine. So you've got Daddario and her crew of two other babes, and they are trying to get to this
Babs.
concert. Bobs, exactly. It's the late 80s, though. I think it's 87 or 88, if I recall correctly.
Was it really? Was it
Yeah.
really, though?
Well,
because
no, there is
we'll
one
get
thing
there.
in particular which Tim and I actually tried to review this previously, and we had some technical
Yeah.
issues, and I was offended at something that they did in this movie,
100%.
and that's just because I'm a purist in that regard, as a musician and everything. But so
Well, not just that, but the time periodness of it didn't even feel like it, but we'll get there.
It's lame. But so Daddario is kind of like the ringleader of this little group with two other girls. One is kind of new to the crew, and the other one is just way derpier, and they're eating junk food and everything, but yet they're on their way to this rock concert, and they're in Indiana, and they meet up with these three other guys, two of which were former musicians, and the other is just kind of that hang-along friend of sorts. And they go to this, it's like Servants of Satan or Sons of Satan, I can't even remember because it was as, just by the books as possible. But so they invite them back to Daddario's, parents' house, and the partying begins, the drinking begins, and then the twist happens, which they don't reveal in the trailer. And I'm actually glad that in this review we're trying to like shy away from it, because we did mention it in the previous one. But nonetheless, it turns into the movie that maybe you expected it to be, but not necessarily in the fulfilling capability that it could have been. It does get a little bloody, it does get a little bit interesting, there's some snarkiness, there's some jokes, there's some humor, but really as a whole, it doesn't deliver based on the premise, which we've already hammered home, I would say. So,
Yeah, no,
yeah.
I agree with you. And story-wise, it just, I think I already touched on it. It just disappointed me. Like, it was going away, and then it went a different way, and then it went a dumber way, and then it went an even dumber way. And it's like, guys, you're trying to lose me at this point.
Yeah.
The story was not interesting to me, and I gotta say, the acting did not help the story that much. It really hurt more than anything else, because I did not latch on to a single actor in this movie. I wasn't invested in anyone, and I just straight did not. I just didn't care. Like, I don't know. I wasn't in a bad mood watching it or anything. It just
Neither.
was
I mean,
so by the numbers.
Yeah, and there's beautiful girls to look at, and I mean, so on and so forth. As the
Look, yeah, I'm in my
men and
30s.
everything. I mean, same.
I'm kind of past that at this point. Like, hot girls don't sell the movie for me anymore. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
got to actually have some substance there.
Well, and even beyond that, man, they had like the attire didn't even seem like time appropriate. The jeans, and all this
100%,
other
it did
stuff.
not feel like an 80s movie like they were trying to portray.
No, it
100% it felt like it was shot yesterday.
Yeah, no, it did. And the back to the story, just one thing that I forgot to mention is that the justification for these malicious intentions that we have in the movie from certain characters, they make, I can't do my donuts reference, but they make no sense. They are absolutely stupid, and they contradict themselves, and it's kind of culty without getting too much into it. It's just dumb, man, and I don't want to beat a red-headed dead horse with this particular film, but I mean, acting wasn't bad, but it was really scripting issues and just a lack of authenticity that I think really killed this movie without, making that joke and beating that red-headed dead horse.
Oh, God. I was holding off.
Sorry.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, the acting didn't save the story. The story was bad to begin with. The effects, there's not really that much to speak of. A little bit here and there, but nothing that really wowed me or even stuck in my mind at all. Cinematography-wise and sound-wise, nothing really much there either. It's such a by-the-numbers thing. We've seen movies take chances recently and do interesting things, even in this sort of metal, sort of satanic subgenre of horror. There's just been so much better stuff that this was just a total flub for me. It just was not entertaining.
Yeah, go watch Deathgasm. Something like that has a legitimate.
I'll take Devil's Candy over Deathgasm.
Oh man, I love Devil's Candy.
Yeah,
that
Devil's
is
Candy
a
is way
damn
better.
good movie. I mean, you can explore these sort of themes and do a much more convincing and credible job. This movie is one that felt like it was seeking cred and yet didn't necessarily have it, and that's really mean on my part to say, but it's unfortunately the way that it felt, and there is no better spot than I can indicate it with the fact that the people behind this movie with music decided for whatever reason, and there's like some trashy sequences and stuff, and that stuff was all more period specific, but they use for this concert that these guys go to a song from Merciful Fate from the late 90s when it's supposed to be the late 80s. This bothered the living crap out of me, man. I'm like, oh, I hear King Diamond. And King Diamond, separately and along with his main band Merciful Fate, have been around since the early 1980s. I mean, come to the Sabbath, for God's sake. And you're playing, you choose a song of his from the late 90s. It just made me so mad, and Cecil was amused by the fact that it made me so mad. But
hey, purism,
I
like it.
Yeah, it just kills the credibility. Back to that. So
For
anyway,
those of you
I'm
that
not
are
gonna
actually
rage about
into
it.
the music that the movie says it's supposed to be into, that's a big plot hole.
Yeah. No.
So no, I think
it
it's
is.
a totally
It
valid
is.
criticism.
Yeah, it's like it's a chasm of just aggravation for me.
Did you give your thoughts on the acting, or did I?
I
dominate
like
that
kind
part?
of gave my like legitimate bits here and there. I mean, dude, it
We'll
was
talk about the because I whizzed through
Oh no, you're fine.
effects
I mean,
and sound and all that. So give all your thoughts on all of it.
yeah,
I'm pretty much done with this
yeah,
one.
Yeah, as we have jumped through and so on and so forth. I enjoyed Drummer Dude. You know, the guy who basically becomes our hero of sorts. And I did like the girl who was like the new recruit who was having second thoughts about some stuff that she sees transpiring once they get to this particular house. But really, aside from the two of them, I mean, Daddario's kind of wenchy in this. And it's probably the way she was written, but...
She did that well, I suppose.
Yeah, she's in her 30s, and she was playing a girl that I'm assuming is supposed to be like 10 years younger, but she still looks great. So I don't know. I can't argue with that. But I mean, as far as compelling performances go, it was our mulleted drummer kid and you know, the girl who was having second thoughts about some of the shit that starts to go down in this film. They were the best acting-wise for me. And yeah, that's really all I can say. The other people were fairly forgettable. So
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree there. What about the effects or the cinematography or sound? Any of that save it for you?
I mean, decently shot and stuff. I mean, despite being this single location, sort of low-budget horror film, I mean, it was not of the paltry, like, oh, this looks like they made it with a shoestring amount of money. You know, it still looked fine. I don't think Daddario would have been involved in a project that is that sort of low budget, so it still looked good for what it was, but... if you're a gore hound, you're not going to be satisfied here. Definitely not the case. There is little bloodshed in it. I mean, you know, tastefully put together. It seemed like it was from somebody who knew what they were doing from a visual standpoint, but, you know, nothing as far as like masterwork that's going to wow anybody and be like, you know, God, I can't wait to what they do next. So.
Yeah, this movie, guys, I just don't feel it's definitely not worth the VOD money. If it ends up on a streaming service, maybe give it a try then, if you're already subscribed, but...
Yeah, Shutter it, Prime it. I mean, it's fine. You know, if you got 90 minutes, it's fine.
It's fine. It's not anything that I'm writing home about, and it's not anything that I'll watch again.
It's slim pickings right now, and that, I think, is why more people are
Probably.
just stoked about this film, because of the fact that there's so little that we're
I was
getting
bummed
to
about
sink our
both this
teeth into.
and the one we're about to review because both ended up falling a little bit short, but we'll get to that in just a minute. So thank you guys very much for watching. That's going to do it for our thoughts on We Summon the Darkness. Let us know what your thoughts are in those comments down below if you watched this movie, or if you're not interested or interested, let us know why while you're down there. If you enjoyed the video, click the like button and subscribe. Of course, we do have our Patreon link in the description box. If you want to tell us a movie to watch or commentate on, anything like that, you can do so through our Patreon. Until next time, though, I've been Quarantine Cecil.
And I'm back here still, Jaime and Fuego.
And remember, guys, stay
Stay
scared.
scared. We miss you.